Hello, I'm Stephen King, HSBC's Group Chief Economist, and I'm here to talk about the global economy. The situation currently is not particularly good. We have permafrost, as we call it, in the Western world, a frozen economic landscape, not able to respond particularly easily to low interest rates, to fiscal stimulus, and it's all really a story about debt and the repayment of debt, the deleveraging process, which has really turned the Western world increasingly into a Japan-style stagnant economic performance. This is creating big political difficulties, debates in Congress about how to reduce the US budget deficit, and most obviously debates within the Eurozone about how to deal with the relative interests of the Northern European creditors and the Southern European debtors. The Eurozone crisis, unfortunately, is going to get worse before it gets better. Most obviously that the difficulties that we're seeing in Southern Europe at the moment are likely to spread northwards, that Germany and others will prove not to be immune. But ultimately, as the crisis spreads, as we go into a bigger scenario of recession risk, then at least that gives the opportunity for the European Central Bank to do the thing that currently it's refusing to do, namely to print money, to expand its balance sheet, and to try to save the euro. That will be effectively a repeat, perhaps next year, of what we saw from the Federal Reserve back in 2009, a source of monetary stability through a very, very difficult economic environment. But ultimately, that in itself will not be enough. If the Eurozone is going to survive, it needs not just to have an extra injection of cash from the ECB, it also needs to have a move towards eventually some kind of fiscal union. And we are now finally seeing some indications from Germany, from Holland, from France and others that perhaps that's ultimately what will be required. Overall, though, the Western world doesn't look too good. The only good news ultimately for the emerging nations relates to what we call the Southern Silk Road, namely new trade and capital market connections from Asia through to the Middle East, through to Africa, through to Latin America, which are likely to drive global growth in the years ahead. And that will be a long-term theme. But I have to say that at the moment, unfortunately, life is dominated by events in the States and in Europe. Thank you very much. I'm Stephen King, HSBC's Group Chief Economist.